It's December the 4th. It is officially winter and it's time for me to finish up with my Dorset Naga Monster Chilli Plant project. My name is Sean, also known as ChilliChump, and I love all things to do with chilies. Make sure you are to subscribe down below if you want to share in my passion. The plant kind of achieved what I wanted to achieve in terms of size. In fact, I'm 6'4", and you can see that thing is towering above me. Now, that part of it was great. The balancing act, though, is making sure that it gets to that size in time for it to produce enough pods. Now, it didn't produce the number of pods I would have liked, but it did pretty well, and I've learned a few things because I am going to be doing this again next year, and I'm going to have an even bigger plant with far more of a harvest. Let's take a step back in time to November the 5th when I had my competition winners come round to help me pick pods, and also just spend the day with me, check out what I'm doing, and eat some spicy food, of course.
Did you both do the seed kit?
No.
I did, most of it. Yeah, the birds are big, you've got loads of them, but they're obviously like pea-sized, jelly tiny. Haven't
We've just finished picking querce. It wasn't nearly as exciting as I would have liked, but yeah, we got about 293, actually 293 on the dot, which is far from where it needs to be. We're going to be picking now Fricky, and Fricky actually has a lot of chilies, so they are helping me out back there. Let's go and check in and see what's going on. Yeah, Fricky has a lot more chilies, it looks like. Even though the plant didn't look as healthy, you can see actually, I thought this plant was dying, to be honest. But lots of good quality fruit in here. What I'm noticing is there's a lot more of an air gap with the leaves than we have over here with querce. So maybe air couldn't get through. There's a lot of aphid damage, a lot of stickiness, dirty hands picking. But these here, are these sticky? Guys?
No, these are okay.
These are all right. So maybe that's a trick for next year as well, just trim off some of the branches to open it up a bit, or maybe change my system of securing the branches like we have here. I've pulled all the branches up, so maybe we need a bit more space so they can do their thing, but fun for next year. But here we have, I don't know, do you think there'll be more pods on this one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, there's definitely bigger pods, nicer quality ones it looks like. Here we have some lovely sized ones. I have something dripping down my leg. What have we got there?
A twin. There you go.
That looks cool. Let's see if we get any more of those. What's that, another one?
Another twin, yeah.
Huh, two of those now. Now I'm trying to find any. Can't see any myself.
I can see a dead one here, but it's very rotten.
Yeah, no, we don't want to pick that one.
No.
But these are looking beautiful. So it looks like we got more this time than querce. I think Fricky's done a little bit better. I think overall, though, querce has actually produced far more chilies, but I didn't count the first load that I've already processed. But these do look a lot nicer. I think that counts as 2? 1? I don't know, you be the judge.
I'll go for 2.
Sorry, I went distracted. I realised you guys are counting, so you can't talk to me.
You're going to put on my cake?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess actually, if you haven't eaten, but we'd had some bacon rolls.
Yeah, it was a while ago now.
True. Yeah, you guys must be starving. That's the not so hot one.
All right.
Yeah.
Work your way up.
No, I'm just interested to see what your heat tolerance is. I'm always fascinated with these things.
When you say not so hot, it's still pretty hot.
Oh no, those have some spice. Those are buffalo wings, so you're typical. A little bit more spicy than maybe typical buffalo wings. It's got the Blazing Buffalo Extreme mixed in with a bit of Frank's, just to make sure that everyone can eat them.
Okay.
Is that the hot one? Not too bad. So there's some weapons grade if you want to add that to the... if it's not hot enough for you. My lips are burning. I did try a little bit.
I'm scared.
Oh, it's not that bad.
I don't know what I'm trying here.
They're just kind of like...
Try one of those first. Yeah, you should be okay with those. Yeah, Kai straight in. You got no problem there.
It's hard, but it's alright.
Yeah, not too bad. Oh god, do you want gloves?
Yeah, got such a baby as well.
Don't prick me in the eye.
Thank you to Adam and Kai for coming around and helping me out and spending the day with me. It was great meeting you guys, and also Adam, your family as well. It was great to meet them. Kelly, thank you so much for coming around. Kelly's one of my admins that helps me out with a lot of things on YouTube and Facebook and Discord. So thank you as well. I know that you guys traveled quite a distance to get here, and I really appreciate it. I hope it was worth it. I hope you guys had a good time. While I'm not ecstatic about the number of chilies that we picked off the plant, and it was more than the 290 something because I had picked quite big harvests before. Obviously, if I didn't pick them, they would have rotted, and I couldn't wait any longer for when my competition winners came around. But I had it in my mind that the chilies needed to be picked all on the same day to be counted for a comparison towards Nigel, which is obviously the inspiration for this video. And obviously that's not the case. So next year I'll make sure that we do that. And if you're going to be growing along with me doing something similar to this, then just keep that in mind. Count your harvest throughout the season, because obviously you don't get all your harvest all at one time. Now, I did learn a few lessons this year that will help me optimize for next year. Ultimately, one of the things that I really wanted to figure out by doing this wasn't just to grow a massive plant. Obviously, that's a bonus and it was awesome fun. But I also wanted to see how it works out with pot size, and not necessarily which pot is going to get the bigger plant. That's pretty obvious. The bigger plant is going to be in the bigger pot, especially with something like a Dorset Naga. But also which ones are going to provide the bigger harvest, and in comparison to the amount of soil and compost mix that you use and the amount of water that it needs and nutrients, which one is going to be more optimal to grow. Now, if we go by this year's results, I'd say the 90-litre pot did far better. So that is Frikkie, the smaller plant. The 160-litre plant, which is the big one, Koers, it did well, and it had more pods than Frikkie, but for a lot more water, a lot more nutrients, a lot more compost, and a lot more space. It just took up a heck of a lot of space. And if you don't have a big greenhouse like I have back there, then that might be a challenge. So if I had limitations in space, the maximum I'd go would probably be around 60 to 90 litre pot if you're wanting to grow one of these monster plants. I am going to try again with a 160 litre pot next year, and we'll see how we do. But if we go by this year alone, then yeah, I'd say the 90 litre pot did better. Something I'm going to change for next year, or a few things I'm going to change for next year. I'm going to get my Dorset Naga started earlier. I started it fairly late in January. This time I'm going to start it very early January. It's going to be one of the first plants I start. I need to get it going. I need to pot it up sooner. I potted up way too late, I think, this year. So it didn't have time to really fill that pot out before it started just growing and putting out pods. So that's why the pods came in so late, and yeah, we didn't get the amount of harvest that I would have expected. The other thing is to create more space around it. So this year, you know, I grew 4 different monster plants. I grew one in a 160 litre pot, a 90 litre pot, a 60 litre pot, and a 30 litre pot, I think it was, and had them all in a similar space. There just wasn't enough space for the air to get through, and you could see that. It was evident with the monster plant, the Koers plant, the 160 litre one. There was just so much aphid damage compared to Frikkie. Frikkie was fine, right? Frikkie had a lot of space, a lot of air that could get through, and it didn't harbor these stupid aphids. But Koers was overrun, sticky leaves. The guys that came around to help me again, sorry for that, but yeah, they ended up with very sticky fingers. So yeah, that's definitely something that needs to happen with plants. They need their space. They need to allow air to come through. Right now I have 2 big fans. They're 24-inch fans, and I'm going to put another 2 24-inch fans, and it'll just help that air circulation. That's hugely important for healthy plants. So even though you might get rid of aphids in the early part of the season, as soon as they start getting all dense and grown in on each other, then it just creates a nice little space for those aphids to breed and do their thing. Make sure that you're following along. Make sure you are subscribed down below if you want to see how I get on next year with this project. I want to see if I can get it even bigger, bushier and healthier than I had it this year, that large plant. And of course, the main thing is I want to get 2,000 pods, at least 2,000 pods off of that plant. I'll be ecstatic. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again to the competition winners for coming around, and to Kelly, of course. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next video. Until then, stay spicy.